versus season 3. The preparation, y'all. Woo!
Excited to welcome you all to season 3 of Verses. Let me first start by saying thank you. This doesn't happen if you all don't volunteer and decide to go ahead and give it a chance to show what you know about Bible. So know this, you've already won. Whether you're crowned champion or not, you've already won because you've had the courage and the faith to step up and do what so many people didn't. So thank you all. As we get ready to get started, we've done a whole lot that's different this year. You'll see it with the set. A lot of work is going in to get ready for the questions and how things are going to flow. Remember this, throughout this whole competition, it's really about the audience. This is replacing our regular Bible study, so it's an opportunity for people to learn more about the Bible. And your speaking out your answers helps the audience kind of think about how you're thinking and listen to what you're saying and to engage it in themselves. Hopefully, people will be playing alongside you at home, like saying, oh, I know that answer, so we want to catch as much as possible. All right, everybody ready to go? Let's get it started.
Trivia Game Show.
David Stevens,
John Rosenthal,
Bernard Jackson.
and we are
Omega Sci-Fi Incorporated.
Hi, I'm Deacon in Training, Shalonda Scott.
And I am Deacon in Training, Charles May.
I'm Deacon in Training, Alana Mallory, and we are 3 of your 17
Anointed Christians that
serve.
Hey, family, grace and peace be unto you. And God who loves us as mother and father, and Jesus Christ who always and alone is our resurrected, our risen, our reigning, and our returning Redeemer. I'm Pastor Wesley.
I'm Dr. Judy Fentress-Williams.
And together we gladly welcome you to this fourth competition in Season 3 of Verses. Verses is a unique way to study the Word of God with a little trivia, a little competition, a little friendly fun as we gather together to see what our teams know or don't know about the Bible. We encourage you to join in with us as our teams tonight get ready to decide who will be the last contestant in the semifinals.
Pastor Wesley, the competition has been really good this season, and we've seen some close calls. So I'm hoping that as you follow along, that you're increasing your knowledge and getting a little bit more confident. Let's see what happens tonight.
Tonight we get ready. It's on between the Deacons in Training, the next servant leaders at Alfred Street Baptist Church, and these brothers over here.
And
Come on, let's fire it down.
Omega Sci-Fi.
Let's get it on. Just like all of our other competitions, tonight's competition between the men of Omega Sci-Fi and the Deacons in Training will follow the Jeopardy format. Within each category, there'll be 4 different questions with varying level of difficulty and point value. In Daily Double, there will be an opportunity for them to wager their points to try to catch up or to take a great lead. If a team answers incorrectly, the other team can steal or pass. If they steal and answer correctly, they get the points and the board. If they steal and answer incorrectly, they lose the board, or they can simply choose to pass and take control of the board. To see who goes first, we've got a buzzer beater question for you all. The first team to chime in with the correct answer takes control of the board. Teams, are you ready?
We're ready.
Yes.
Here is your buzzer beater question to begin our round of Jeopardy. According to tradition, he is the author of Lamentations. Deacons in Training, who's the answer?
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah is correct. Jeremiah is considered to be the author of the book of Lamentations, which means you will control the board in our first round of Jeopardy. Dr. Julie, let's share with them what our categories for tonight will be.
The first category is rest in peace. These are accounts of deaths in the Bible.
The second category is what's in the name. Many a times people are named in the Bible or a name has significance and meaning. We will give you the name. We're asking you what is behind that name.
Next, we have I've been to the mountaintop. These are mountains in the Bible, named mountains.
We've got ex-cons. We've shared before and time again how many times God has used those who have flawed prison records, and we want you to help us with some ex-convicts in the Bible. I think the brothers should do pretty well over here.
And our final category, the name of the Lord, is based on Pastor Wesley's sermon series on the names for God.
That being said, Deacons in Training, you have control of the board. Which category and which point value are you going for?
We'll go to I've been to the mountaintop for 200.
All right.
I've been to the mountaintop for 200. Here is your question for 200 points. Upon this mountain, Elijah fought the prophets of Baal or Baal. Upon this mountain, Elijah fought the prophets of Baal. For 200 points, you have 60 seconds.
Okay, we'll go with Mount Carmel.
Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel is correct. Upon Mount Carmel in 1 Kings chapter 18, Elijah did battle against the prophets of Baal. Deacons in Training, you still control the board.
All right, we'll stay with I've been to the mountaintop for 300.
I've been to the mountaintop for 300. Here is your question for 300 points. From this mountain, Moses got a glimpse of the promised land. From this mountain, Moses got a glimpse of the promised land. You have 60 seconds.
Okay, we believe it is Nabor.
Nabor. Okay, no, that is the incorrect answer. Men of Omega Psi Phi, do you want to steal or do you want to pass on the question from this mountain? Moses got a glimpse of the promised land.
Omega men do not steal.
Omega man, do not steal. Pass. You were very close, Deacons in Training. Mount Nebo. Mount Nebo. Deuteronomy chapter 34, verse 1. God gives Moses a glimpse of the promised land from Mount Nebo. But you have 200 points, but now the Omega men have control of the board. Brothers, which direction are you headed?
What's in the name?
What's in the name for what point value?
Let's start with 100.
What's in the name for 100 points? His name means praise. His name means praise. You have 60 seconds.
Jehovah Shalom.
Jehovah Shalom is incorrect. Deacons in Training, would you like to steal or pass on the question, his name means praise?
We'll pass, Pastor.
We'll pass. The correct answer is Judah. Judah means praise. Genesis chapter 29, verse 35. Judah means praise. Deacons in Training, you have control of the board.
We'll stay with I've been to the mountaintop
For what point value?
for 400.
I've been to the mountaintop for 400. When David escaped his persecutors, he ran to this mountain. When David was escaping his persecutors, he ran to this mountain. You have 60 seconds.
This is a tough one.
This definitely is. But the answer is going to shock those who don't know.
This is some mountains.
Do you have an answer?
Okay, we will try Horeb.
Mount Horeb. Very good guess. It's a popular mountain in the Bible, but sadly it is incorrect. Men of Omega Psi Phi, since you don't steal, would you like to take the question or would you like to pass on the question?
Know the answer.
If we're taking a pass.
We'll pass.
Pass. This will be surprising to you. According to 2 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 30, when David is fleeing some of his persecutors, he runs to the Mount of Olives, which typically we limit to Jesus' prayer in the New Testament.
That's right.
Men of Omega Psi Phi, the board is yours.
Okay. The name of the Lord.
The name of the Lord for 100 points.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for 100 points.
The only name that God self-identifies with is this. The only name that God self-identifies with is this.
I am.
Men of Omega Psi Phi, you are correct for 100 points. You still have control of the board.
Let's just pass the rest of the night.
Please select.
Name of the Lord for 200.
All right, for 200 points. What is the name that Hagar gives God?
Elroy.
Elroy, according to Genesis 16:13, Hagar names God Elroy. You are correct for 200 points, and you still have control of the board.
The name of the Lord for 300.
All right, for 300 points, this name of God appears only 3 times in the New Testament. In the New Testament, this name for God only appears 3 times.
Oh, I think I got this one.
We can make you a maybe if you like.
No, that ain't what happened.
Think about it for a minute.
Abba.
You are correct.
Congratulations.
For 300 points, and you still have control of the board.
Hey, 400.
Other than the Lord of Hosts, the Psalter uses this name to describe God as a God of war. So in the Psalms, when we refer to God as a God of war, other than Lord of Hosts, what's the name used to describe God?
It's one of your questions, Dr. Judy.
I think maybe.
Yeah, this sounds like a Old Testament scholar question right here.
I think maybe. This is good.
This was tough.
We'll pass.
Okay, when you don't get a loss of points, you're taking a guess that's incorrect.
Jehovah Nahum.
I'm afraid that is not correct. DITs, would you like to steal or just take control of the board?
We'll pass.
All right. Now, before I give the answer, what were you going to say?
I had a guess, Jehovah Sabaoth.
That's a great guess. So Sabaoth is the same thing as Lord of Hosts. So that wouldn't have been correct, but that was a great guess. So the answer is Jehovah Gibor. Gibor means strong man.
Yep.
All right? Or God the warrior.
We have it
All right?
in there.
But you still have control of the board.
Okay, we'll stay with I've been to the mountaintop 100.
I've been to the mountaintop for 100 points. Here's your question. Abraham offered Isaac as a sacrifice on this mountain. Abraham offered Isaac as a sacrifice on this mountain.
Is it Mount Moriah?
Excuse me?
Moriah.
Mount Moriah is correct. Genesis 22,
Well
verse
done.
2. It is upon Mount Moriah that Abraham offers Isaac. You are within a few hundred points. The Omegas have 600. The Deacons in Training have 300 and control of the board.
What's in the name?
We'll go with what's in a name for 200.
What's in the name for 200? His name means born in pain. His name means born in pain. You have 60 seconds.
Is it Abel?
Abel is not correct. Omegas, do you want to take the question or would you like to pass?
Jabaz.
Huh? Say it again, please.
Jabaz.
We'll give you credits as Jabez.
Jabez.
Jabez, the prayer of Jabez, the song, Lord increase my territory. His name, as you read in 1 Chronicles 4:9, means born in pain. Omegas, you have control of the board. You have an 800 point value, 300 to the DITs.
What's in the name for 300?
What's in a name for 300? For 300 points, his name means the glory of the Lord is gone. His name means the glory of the Lord is gone.
That's another sad name.
If this is what my mama named me, you got problems. Right? My mom looked at me and said, you know what? The glory of the Lord is gone. His name means the glory of the Lord is gone.
I wonder how many folks at home are going to get this one.
Strangely, I remember this because of a sermon I heard once in my life.
Huh?
And a preacher went to a church, talked about how they did not praise the Lord, and he called it This Name Baptist Church.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. One of those great preaching moments. Brothers, you have 15 seconds to tell me whose name means the glory of the Lord is gone.
Ezra.
Ezra is incorrect. Deacons in Training, would you like to steal or pass?
If we get it wrong, would we lose points?
If you get it wrong, you will lose 300 points. Pass. The name Ichabod means the glory of the Lord is gone. Ichabod. Deacons in Training, you have control of the board. You're down 500 points.
Sure.
We'll go with what's in a name for 400 points.
What's in a name for 400 points? His name means God remembers. His name means God remembers. This is tough, Dr. Judy.
This is a hard one.
This is a tough one. If you don't read the Bible, you have no chance at this one. But read your Bible. It'll make you a better Christian.
And get you a few points in verses.
And you may get a few points in verses.
Is it Elijah?
Elijah is incorrect. Men of Omega Psi Phi, will you pass or steal the question? Whose name means God remembers? We all in the lead now. So
Omega passes.
Omega passes. You will not believe, well, you should remember that the prophet Zechariah, his name means God remembers. You can find that in Zechariah chapter 1, verse 1. Men of Omega, you have control of the board and a 500-point lead with lots of questions still to be had.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace for 100.
For 100.
He died reaching out to keep the Ark of the Covenant from falling.
Another tough one, Doctor.
This is an interesting story because you weren't supposed to touch the Ark.
But he's trying to
do the right thing.
I thought the easy one was at the top.
Well, it is verses with surprises. I wonder if the people at home know the name. Again, you may remember the story, but do you know the name?
That's right. And that's what gets you with Bible trivia. You can tell the whole story, but maybe not remember that detail.
Isaac.
I'm afraid that's not right. Deacons in training, do you want to? You're shaking your head. I can't even get the question out. He's like, no. All right. You can pass. The answer found in 2 Samuel 6, verses 6 to 7 is Uzzah. U-Z-Z-A-H. And now we'll remember, he's the man who died trying to...
Yep.
All right. All right, but you have control of the board now.
Let's do rest in peace for 200.
All right. After his hair got caught in the thickets of a tree, he was killed by his father's men. His hair got caught in the thickets of a tree. He was killed by his father's men.
Let's go with, is it Jonathan?
That is not correct. You're in the right group of stories, if that helps.
Absalom.
That is correct. So the men of Omega Psi Phi did steal in this instance.
They did steal. And they clearly read their Bible. Impressed on both fronts. Good job.
Gentlemen, you have control of the board.
We'll RIP for 300.
All right. He died falling out of his chair and breaking his neck. Terrible way to go.
Terrible way to go, but I remember this story.
I know that story.
Nebuchadnezzar.
I'm afraid that's not correct. It's coming back over here. No? Okay.
There's not a lot of stealing going on tonight.
I'm starting to feel hurt now. These are good questions. So, am I mistaken if I think I'm not mistaken. This is tied to Ichabod.
It is.
All right, so this man hears this terrible news about his son's death, falls backward and breaks his neck. Eli. All right? But you have control of the board.
We'll go with ex-cons for 100.
All right.
For 100 points. They held praise and worship in jail.
Interesting place to praise the Lord.
Well,
sounds like a good sermon, though.
yes.
Wherever you are,
Yeah.
he's worthy.
And it worked out well for them. They held praise and worship in jail.
Was it Paul and Silas?
It was Paul and Silas, according to Acts chapter 16, verses 16 through 40. Well done for 100 points. Keep it going.
Okay, we'll go with ex-cons for 200.
Ex-cons for 200. Here is your question. He incarcerated his own family for 3 days. He incarcerated his own family for 3 days for 200 points in 60 seconds.
We'll try Matthew.
Matthew is incorrect. Men of Omega, do you know who incarcerated his own family for 3 days?
Joseph.
Joseph is correct. When his brothers came to see him, he incarcerated them until they went to go get his younger brother.
Did
He
somebody
made
over here
mistakes.
say that?
Go get Benjamin.
That's right. Well, Omegas, you stole 200 points. Praise be to God, and you have control of the board.
RIP.
Yeah.
RIP for 400.
For 400 points, she was thrown out of the window by her eunuchs. She was thrown out of the window by her eunuchs.
Does anybody just die in their sleep in the Bible? Everyone has mindless deaths. Nobody just went to sleep.
Jezebel.
Jezebel is correct for 400 points. Yes. Well done. And then after that, the dogs ate her. Yeah, it was.
That's what dogs do.
It was an ugly.
They trust them dogs. I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, so sorry about that. You have control of the board, and there are 2 more clues.
So the dogs will do 300.
All right. All right, gentlemen, how many times was Peter jailed?
Oh, goodness. This one knows, like, you really have to be studying the Bible.
Right.
Right? You don't just remember this. You know.
I wouldn't remember this. I would just guess.
7.
That is not correct.
Deacons in training?
Did we lose points? Did we lose points?
Okay. So we're going to pass?
Yeah, we're going to pass.
All right.
3. Peter.
Okay. That was at least 2 times. Or not, and see what happens.
Right.
All right?
All right, you have the last questions, Deacons in training. Right now, Omegas are at 1,600. You're at 400. Here's 400 points possible for you. After having his eyes gouged out, the Philistines imprisoned him in this city. After having his eyes gouged out, the Philistines imprisoned him in this city. I need the name of the city. The name of the city.
Is that your first mind? Go for it.
Is it Capernaum?
Capernaum is incorrect. Men of Omega, you have a chance to add 400 points to your score. If you know, after having his eyes gouged out, the Philistines imprisoned him in this city. What is the name of the city?
We'll pass.
We'll pass. Well, who had their eyes gouged out? Samson.
Right.
He was imprisoned in Gaza.
Oh, God.
Gaza.
On the strip.
One of the
Right.
cities of the Philistines, Gaza.
Well,
Now, Judy, we
that
come to the end of the
completes
first
our
round.
first round.
Hey, not bad. The Deacons in training are at 400. The Men of Omega are at 1,600. But we got a long way to go and a lot of points left. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to give them a chance to catch up by making a list. We'll see you right after this break.
You will be able to worship with us in person at both 8 a.m. Eastern Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Doors will open 1 hour prior to the worship start time for each service. So tell your friends, family, and colleagues. Please visit alfredstreet.org or be sure to download our Alfred Street Baptist Church app in iTunes or in the Google Play Store. We're inviting all high school seniors and juniors across the nation to join us in person and online. You don't want to miss this opportunity to register today for one of the amazing HBCU college festivals in the nation. It all goes down on Friday, November 17th, virtually and in person on Saturday, November 18th at the St. James Sports Complex in Springfield, Virginia. Be sure to visit our alfredstreet.org website for details and all things pertaining to the HBCU College Festival.
Versus, a Bible-based trivia game presented by Alfred Street Baptist Church. A new way to make Bible study fun. Volume 1 is restocked and ready for order. Volume 2 offers an all-new set of Bible trivia questions to spark meaningful conversations about the Word of God. This game is designed to help you deepen your connection to the Bible. Put your orders in now before they're all gone.
Family, welcome back to our final competition to see who's going to the semifinal round. The men of Omega are coming in at 1,600 points. The Deacons in Training have 400. Now they have an opportunity to add more points to their score by making a list. In just a moment, I'm going to ask you to unlock your iPads, and I'm going to give you a list. I'm going to ask you to name as many things as you can on that list, and for each correct answer, you will receive 100 points. Please unlock your iPads. Ladies and gentlemen, you have 90 seconds to make a list of proper nouns in the Bible that begin with the letter D as in David. All the places, all the names that you can think of that start with the letter D as in David, you have 90 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Please lock in your answers. We will send them to the judges. They will come back and let you know how many are correct. We'll be right back. Our contestants have been given an opportunity to add to their score. For every correct proper noun beginning with the letter D, they will receive 100 points. Dr. Judy, let's see how they fared out with the letter D.
All right. So, Deacons in Training got David, Deborah, Daniel, Danube, I think that's Daniel's little cousin maybe, Damascus, Decapolis, and the Disciples for a total of 6 for 600 points.
All right, and the men of Omega got 600 as well with David, Deborah, Dan, Daniel, Deuteronomy, and the devil. We'll give him the devil.
It's okay.
Well, you know, we're close. We're close. You get credit for the devil, all right? That being said, our score is now the Omegas are at 2,200 and the DITs are at 1,000, but it's time for double jeopardy. Not only do the point values increase, but so do the difficulty of questions. And don't forget that somewhere on the board is the daily double. If you land on it, you can wager as many points as you have to try to take the lead or to catch up if you're in the rear. Dr. G, let's share with them what the categories for Double Jeopardy are going to be. Your first category is called the one and only. These are questions about singular instances or people in the Bible.
The next category, A Nation Divided, is about the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judah.
The next category is Seek. You all know that every year we begin a journey of Seek, which is our journey of prayer and fasting. These are questions about prayer and fasting in the Bible.
And our next category, AKA.
Oh, Dr. Judy, you're so divine.
I love all my sisters. But this category is also known as, we'll give you one name, tell us another name by which that person is known.
And then finally, you've got stormy seas. You'd be surprised at how many storms on the sea we read about in the Bible. We're going to find out how many you have read about in this category. That being said, Deacons in Training, you control the board as an opportunity to catch up with the men of Omega. Which category and which point value are you going with?
Actually, we'll go with the Nation Divided.
For
200.
For 200 points. After the split of Israel, only these two tribes remained in the south. There are two tribes that form the southern kingdom.
Ephraim, but I'm not sure.
This is a good general question.
It is.
One of the ones that,
But you have to think about the history here.
yeah, Nefertiti.
That's true.
Judah and. Which one did you say? Say it out loud. Judah and Benjamin.
According to 1 Kings 12, verses 20 to 21, the two tribes in the south were in fact Judah and Benjamin. For 200 points, you are correct. You still control the board.
Let's go with the tribe, a nation divided for 400.
This was the capital city for the northern kingdom.
A lot of history in this one, Dr. G.
Yes, it is. You have to have read those books. So the nation of Israel had a capital city.
We'll go with Gaza.
Gaza. That is not correct, and so we're going to give you all a chance to steal.
We lose points if we get it.
You
wrong.
would lose 400.
Correct. The capital city of the northern kingdom.
See it to the four corners.
Pass.
We're going to pass. All right. The answer here is Samaria.
Samaria.
So think about the Samaritans, those people from the north. That name comes from that capital city. All right? Gentlemen, you have control of the board.
We'll take Seek for 200.
Seek for 200. And here's your question. This was the first person in the Bible to have conducted a fast. This is the first person in the Bible to have conducted a fast. You have 60 seconds.
Daniel.
Daniel is incorrect. Deacons in training, would you like to steal or pass? Do you know who the first person in the Bible to conduct a fast was?
I know.
We'll pass.
You will pass. Does either team have a guess as to who it would have been?
Adam.
No, not Adam. Moses.
Moses.
In Exodus chapter 34 and verse 28, we see that Moses leads a fast. Deacons in training, you have control of the board. You are down 1,000 points.
We will go with Seek for 400.
Seek for 400.
This is the reason Paul and Barnabas fasted. This is the reason that Paul and Barnabas fasted.
Because they were in jail. Because they were in jail.
We believe it's because they were in jail.
That's a good answer, but not the correct one. Gentlemen, you want to
Pass.
that one, all right? The answer here is the selection of church leaders in Acts chapter 14, verse 23. It's a good practice.
Deacon question.
Omegas, you have control of the board.
Seek for 600.
Seek for 600. Here is your question. The original Daniel fast in chapter 1 had a trial period for this length. The original Daniel fast in chapter 1 had a trial period for this length. This is tough, Judy, because most people associate fast and attention. Daniel actually said, try us for this number.
That is right. That's right.
The question is, how long did Daniel ask to be tested for?
10 days.
10 days. You must read your Bible because that is correct. In Daniel chapter 1, verse 14 through 15, Daniel said, let us try this for 10 days. And after 10 days, we're not stronger. We will eat your meat. Good job, men of Omega. You still control the board.
Can I get that on tape?
No. Listen, man, I'm trying to be Christian.
Seek for 800.
For 800 points. This is the length of Nehemiah's fast.
Ooh.
This is hard. But it's
Nehemiah
800
fasted?
points. 800 points.
I didn't know Nehemiah fasted.
We don't lose anything. We don't lose. 40 days. 40 days.
That is a good answer, but it is not correct. Would you all like to try to steal?
800 points on the board.
No. And they said no.
No.
4 months.
Ooh.
Yeah. Wait for Seek 24. Y'all thought 40 days was rough. We got 4 months coming. We're going to start in April and end in August. Easy Trader, you have control of the board.
We'll try a new category, stormy seas for 200.
Stormy seas for 200. In what book of the Bible do we find a global storm? In what book of the Bible do we find a global storm for 200 points?
Is that the book of Genesis?
That would be the book of Genesis with the flood. We begin to hear about it in Genesis chapter 7 and verse 6. Congratulations, you gain 200 points and you keep control of the board.
Let's go with stormy seas for 400.
Stormy seas for 400. Here is your question. This person was in a deep sleep below the deck of a ship when a storm broke out. This person was in a deep sleep below the deck of a ship when a storm broke out.
We believe that would be Jesus.
You believe that would be Jesus, and you would be incorrect. The answer is not Jesus. Men of Omega, do you have an answer for who was asleep below the deck of a ship when the storm broke out?
Jonah.
Jonah is correct. Jesus was asleep in the back of the ship. Jonah was asleep below the deck of the ship. Details matter. Men of Omega, you are in control of the board. You have 3,200 points to 1,400 of the Deacons in training.
Let's try the Sisters of AKA.
They bring it on themselves, Judy.
Alrighty,
They bring it on
then.
themselves.
I'm trying to help y'all. Now, I'm going to give you a name, and you are going to tell me another name that this would be known by. I may adjust this clue a little bit
Go
here,
ahead.
Esther. Red Sea.
It actually has another biblical name.
The Sea of Galilee.
That is not correct. DITs, do you know another name for Red Sea?
I mean, we could. It's up to you.
All right. So this is tricky. The answer is actually Reed Sea. So actually, in the Bible, the Hebrew term is Yam Suf, which means sea of reeds. But there's also a Red Sea right there. So that's where we get those two names. All right. But you have control of the board.
Okay, we'll go back to stormy seas for 600.
Stormy seas for 600. The disciples were headed to this location when the storm broke out in the Gospel of John. The disciples were headed to this location when a storm broke out according to the Gospel of John.
Yep, sound like it.
We believe it's Capernaum.
Capernaum is the correct answer. They were on their way to Capernaum, according to John chapter 6 and verse 17. Congratulations for 600 points. And you still have control of the board.
Let's finish stormy seas for 800.
Stormy seas for 800. Paul was on a ship with 276 people when a violent storm broke out on this body of water. Well, Judy, it was either this or the number of people. So we thought C would be a little bit easier than identifying the number of people.
I'm trying to think if I know this answer.
Let's go. Something
This
for
one,
800.
you can kind of guess and figure it out
We miss it.
if you know the geography
They
of
take
the
it
Mediterranean
and
area.
miss it out.
Yes.
They lose 800.
No.
Let's get these big points off the board.
See what
Patmos.
Patmos is incorrect. Patmos is an island. It is not a sea. Men of Omega,
We'll pass.
you will pass very quickly, all right? The answer is the Adriatic Sea. Acts 27, verse 27 and 37. It was the Adriatic Sea where the storm broke out when Paul was with 276 other shipmates. Men of Omega, you are in control of the board.
We will go with one and only for 800.
One and only for 800. All right. She is the one and only woman king of Israel in the Bible. The one and only woman king of Israel in the Bible. It's one of those, if you don't know, you will never forget.
That's right. That's right.
Did you know there was a woman king in Israel?
Yeah.
Before Viola Davis?
You said yes.
But I don't remember her name.
A little known fact. Yeah.
Deborah.
Deborah is incorrect. Deacons in training, you have a chance for 800 points if you know who the one and only woman king of Israel is in the Bible. You will pass on it. In 2 Kings, chapter 11, verse 1 through 3, we read about Athaliah. Athaliah is the only woman king of Israel. Deacons in training, you have control of the board.
We will go with the nation divided, Pastor, for 600.
All right.
600, all right.
600. He was the last king to rule over a unified Israel. The last king to rule over a unified Israel.
I know the date.
You remember our discussion about this?
I do. We were researching to make certain that we were
Almost
correct
done.
because there was division in the room
That's right.
about
That's
what
right.
the answer was.
That's right. I'm not mistaken.
Over
I was
unified
wrong on this.
So the ministers do some Bible study as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we believe it was King Solomon.
That is not correct.
We'll have to tell you. We'll pass.
Protect that lead at all costs.
Pastor, will you give us the answer here?
So there's debate, but we did our research. It's actually Rehoboam. Rehoboam was Solomon's son. Rehoboam will not listen to the wisdom of his elders, and then the nation is split while he still remains king.
That's right.
Men of Omega, you have control of the board.
AKA for 800.
For 800 points. The name is Joseph from Cyprus.
And they have to give him the other name?
That's correct.
This ain't fair, Dr. Judy.
Well, they wanted 800 points.
You're going to get it, you're going to hurt the hard way.
Joseph from Cyprus.
The caretaker for the body.
No, I think you're maybe thinking of Joseph of Arimathea.
Oh, that's
This is Joseph from Cyprus.
I
No?
want to give you a chance. You going to pass?
Acts 4:36. Joseph from Cyprus is also known as Barnabas. Barnabas.
Know it now.
That's something you'll never forget.
No.
You're right about that.
All right, you have control.
We'll go with the nation divided for 800, Dr. Judy.
For 800 points. He was the first king of Israel of the north. He was the first king of the northern kingdom of Israel.
Again, if you're not studying the Bible, this will be different.
I'm a happy camper.
First king of the north.
Hezekiah.
That is not correct. Gentlemen?
We'll pass.
You make us have a very solid strategy. We are not gambling our points.
Go back to the last clue in this category. The last king of the United Kingdom was Rehoboam, Solomon's son, With the kingdom divided, the king that ruled the north was named Jeroboam. Jeroboam, Rehoboam, and somebody over here said it. All right.
You're going to learn. You're trying to tell you. Trust your instincts. You talk yourself out of the right answer all the time. Everyone does it.
Which one?
We're in training.
I understand. Well, we want you to be champions. We want y'all to win. Men of Omega, you got the board.
One and only for 600.
The one and only for 600. He is the one and only left-handed man mentioned in the Bible. Dr. Judy loves this person. He is the one and only left-handed man mentioned in the Bible for 600 points.
That's the Billy Cap. I remember he put.
That's not going to help you.
I remember the story. Because he had this cabbage on his right side over here. He would know he went put it in the fat man's belly.
People were watching last week.
They know the answer.
They know the answer.
That's what's
the
fun
only
about this.
left-handed man mentioned in the Bible.
Herman.
Herman is incorrect. He's in training. Will you steal? Do you know who the only left-handed man mentioned in the Bible is?
No, we passed.
You passed. Dr. Judy, tell him because I know.
Ehud.
Ehud.
And this is a big deal, right? Because he is left-handed. He had his
the
sword on his right
right
thigh.
side,
They
and
didn't
he
check.
pulled it out.
So you knew.
I know the story, but don't know the man.
Now you know the man.
Now I know the man.
Ehud kills King Eglon of Moab.
That's right.
All right.
Remember that.
Very good. All right, DITs, you control the board.
We'll go with the one and only for 400.
The one and only for 400. She is the one and only woman whose dream is shared in the Bible.
Ooh.
Only one woman's dream is shared in the Bible. Who is that woman for 400 points in 60 seconds? This is actually amazing. If you think of all the dreams of all the people,
That's correct.
only one woman
That's right.
has a dream that is revealed in the Bible.
Yeah.
We believe it's Elizabeth.
You believe it is Elizabeth. That is incorrect. Her dream is not shared in the Bible. Men of Omega, do you know whose dream, the only woman whose dream is revealed in the Bible?
We'll pass.
You'll pass.
We will pass.
What a surprise.
What a surprise.
Believe it or not, it is one of the least most recognizable characters. We don't know her name. But she goes to her husband and tells him that she's had a dream telling him, leave Jesus alone. Pilate's wife.
Pilate's
Pilate's wife. Pilate's wife is the only woman whose dream is revealed in the Bible. Man, we learning something about the Bible.
We will
today.
not forget this one.
We will not forget
That's
this
right.
one. Men of Omega, the board is yours.
AKA for 600.
All right. I'm going to give you a name. Gadarenes. Gadarenes. Also known as.
We know this is a location,
Yes.
not a person.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Garden of Eden. Gethsemane. Eden. We'll say Gethsemane.
That is not correct. DITs.
No, we took
No,
1.
no, thank you. All right, so think there's a Greek name if that helps. The Greek name for Gadarenes is Decapolis. Matthew 8:28 and Mark 5.
Well, Deacons in Training, you have the board, and there are only 2 questions left in the one and only, and also known as.
We'll do AKA for 400.
All right, this is a good one. Sinai.
Another location.
Yes.
It has another name.
We can go with it. Yeah, she's doing it. Yeah, it's another.
Four corners.
We will go with Mount Horeb.
Thank you so much for going with Mount Horeb. That is correct.
Wow. And with that,
400
you
points.
pull within 800 points of the Men of Omega, and you have the board and the last question. And guess what we haven't landed on yet? The Daily Double. With the Daily Double, you now have the opportunity to wager up to 2,400 points on a question in the 200 category. How many points are you willing to wager?
400. How many do we have?
You
You have 2,400. They have 3,200. You are down 800 points.
400.
We still have making a list and Final Jeopardy to go.
Okay. We will wager 400 points.
You will wager 400 points. If you get it correct, you get 400. If you do not get it correct, you lose nothing. Here is your question. She is the one and only woman whose age is mentioned in the Bible. There's only one woman whose age is mentioned in the Bible.
You think about this, you can get this.
400 points on the line.
Well, it is.
This is another interesting fact, Judy. With all the people, all the women in the Bible, only one woman's age is mentioned. You know why? Because you're supposed to tell a woman's age.
Well, that's...
Even the Bible writers knew that. Anna is incorrect. They've left 400 points on the board, Men of Omega. If you want to take them, you can, or you can pass.
If you get it wrong.
Right. If you get it wrong, you lose 400 points.
Okay, we'll pass.
You go pass. Believe it or not, the only woman whose age we know, the Bible tells us she was 90 years old.
Who was it?
It was Sarah. In Genesis chapter 17, verse 17, we find out Sarah was 90 years old. Dr. Judy, it's still real close.
Anybody's
training
saying?
at 2,000. Omega's at 3,200. We still have a long way to go. We've got making a list where 100 points are available, and we've got Final Jeopardy coming up. The championship is on the line for who's making the next step there. We'll see you all right after this commercial break.
We invite you to tune in to our Faith Forward weekly radio broadcast featuring Pastor Howard John Wesley.
This isn't the first time you had to call on God. This isn't the first time you waited on God. Is there anybody here who knows what God has done for you?
Every Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Magic 102.3 FM and 92.7 FM for a powerful sermon that will move you forward in your faith.
Welcome back to Verses, to our second round of Make a List. We're going to get each team to write as many answers as they can in response to the prompt. You'll have 90 seconds. Are your iPads on and ready? And here is the category. I want you to make a list of the cities Paul visited on his missionary journeys. You have 90 seconds. A list of the cities Paul visited on his missionary journey. Welcome back to Verses. We've just finished our second round of Make a List, and the category was Make a List of the cities Paul visited on his missionary journeys. Pastor Wesley, let's see how our teams
Yeah, because Paul went a whole lot of places. Let's see how many they know.
Deacons in Training, Galatia, Colossia, Philippi, and Macedonia are correct for a total of 400 points.
The Omegas had Rome, Ephesus, Corinth, Philippi, Athens, and then a few others that were incorrect, and they got 500 as well. The DITs are now in at 2,400. The Omegas have a 1,300-point lead, but now we're going into Final Jeopardy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all on the line, and this is the way it will work. In just a few moments, Dr. Judy is going to give you a category. That category will then be upon what you base your wager of how many points you want to bet. After your wager is locked in, I will give you the question. You have 60 seconds to answer. We will then look at your answers, see what the right answer was, see how many points you wagered, and at the end of all of that, one of you will be making your way to the semifinals to stand against the Entrepreneur Ministry. That being said, are you ready for Final Jeopardy?
We're ready.
Yes, we're ready.
Dr. Judy, would you please give them the category upon which they will wager?
The category is Family Ties. Family Ties.
Please think about how many points you want to wager and lock those in. You're having too much fun over there. Teams, here's what it boils down to. Here's your Final Jeopardy question under Family Ties. Caiaphas, the high priest of Israel, was related to the former high priest Annas in this way. Caiaphas came after Annas, and they were related. How is Caiaphas related to Annas, both of whom were high priests of Israel? Dr. Judy, this has been a close and tight one.
Yeah.
It all comes down to Final Jeopardy. The Omegas have 3,700. The Deacons in Training at 2,400. It's all going to boil down to how much they wagered and if they got the question right in Final Jeopardy.
Let's see how they did.
How was Caiaphas, the high priest, related to the former high priest Annas? What was their relation? Let's see what the teams came up with. The DITs said he was his nephew. The Omega said he was his grandson. All right, let's see how many points they wagered. Well, if I do the math correctly, if the Deacons are right, they win by a single point. If the Omegas are right, then they win. We will find out. The correct answer is this. Caiaphas was Annas' son-in-law. He was his son-in-law. They both were incorrect, which means that the Omegas have won. Will you help me congratulate the men of Omega Psi Phi and their victory on tonight? Deacons in Training, don't take it personal. Your day is coming. You're going to be ordained. You can take it out on them when you get your deacon's license. But we thank you all for competing with us on tonight. And we look forward to next week when we begin our semifinal round. We've got the legal resource team going, the greeters and the ushers. Family, we hope you're enjoying this as much as we are. We hope it's causing you to want to go to your Bible, because when you read your Bible,
it'll make you a better Christian.
Omega.
Hey, we love you all with the love of Jesus Christ. We'll catch you next week for the first round of the semifinals in season 3 of Versus. We've almost got a new champion. We'll catch you all next week.